Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Today I am going to share a very interesting story, Indian travel, that is all about a man. So first of all, answer me this question. What will you do if someone gives you one of these gifts on your birthday? A giraffe, a rocket or a road engine? Where will you keep it and what will you do with it? The same problem arises in the front of a man who won a road roller as a lottery prize. Listen the story till end to find out what a man did when he won a road engine as a lottery prize. So let us start. But if you haven't subscribed my channel, just go to the subscription button and subscribe my channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon that you can get the latest updates of my videos. This story is narrated by the men in the story means speaker. So here I and me are the pronouns used for the men. So let us start. There came down to our town some year ago a showman owning an institution called the Gaiety Land. Overnight, our gymkhana ground became bright and colorful with banners, streamers, and colored lamps. Gaiety Land provide us with all sort of funs and a separate small shows at a fair. In addition to, there were lotteries and shooting galleries, where for an anna you always stood a chance of winning 100 rupee. There was a particular corner of the show which was in great favor. Hence, for a ticket costing 8 anna, you stood a chance of winning a variety of articles: pincushion, sewing machine, cameras, or even a road engine. On one evening, they drew a ticket of number 1005, and I happened to own the other half of the story. Glancing down the list of articles, they declared that I became the owner of a road engine. Don't ask me how a road engine came to be included among the prize. It is more than I can tell you. I looked stunned. People gathered around me and gazed at me as if I were some curious animal. Fancy anyone becoming the owner of a road engine? Some persons muttered and giggled. It was not the sort of prize one could carry home at short notice. I asked the showman if he would help me transport it. He merrily pointed at a notice which ordered that all winners should remove the prizes immediately on drawing and by their own efforts. However, they had to make an exception in my case. They agreed to keep the engine on the gymkhana ground till the end of the season, and then I would have to make my own arrangement to take it out. My friends and well wishers poured in to congratulate me on my latest acquisitions. No one knew precisely how much a road engine would fetch. All the same, they felt that there were a lot of money in it. Even if you sell it as a scrap iron, you can make a few thousand. Some of my friends declared every day I made a trip to Gymkhana ground to have a look at my road engine. I grew very fond of it. I loved its shiny brass parts. I stood near it and petted it affectionately, stayed close to it, and returned home every day. Only at the close of the show, I was a poor man. I thought that my troubles were coming to an end. How inarrogant we were! How little did I guess that my troubles had just begun. When the showman took down his boots and packed up, I received a notice from a municipality to attend to my road engine. When I went there the next day, it looked sad with no one about. The showman had moved on, leaving the engine where it stood. It was perfectly safe anywhere. I left it alone for a few days, not knowing what to do with it. I received a notice from the municipality ordering that the engine should at once be removed from the ground, as otherwise they would charge rent for the occupation of the Gymkhana ground. After deep thought, I consented to pay the rent, and I paid 10 rupees a month for the next 3 months. Dear sir, I was a poor man. Even the house which I and my wife occupied cost me only 4 rupees a month. I was making myself bankrupt maintaining this engine in the Gymkhana ground. I really hoped someday there would come my way a lump sum and make amends for all these defects and suffering. Fresh complications arose when a cattle show came in the offing. It was to be held on the ground. I was given 24 hours for getting the thing out of the ground. I became desperate. There was not a single person for 50 miles around who knew anything about the road engine. Meanwhile, the municipality was pressing me to clear out. I thought it over. I saw the priest of the local temple and menaced the gain his sympathy. He offered me the service of his temple elephant. I also engaged 50 coolies to push the engine from behind. You may be sure this drained all my resources. The coolies wanted 8 annas per head, and the temple elephant cost me 7 rupees a day, and I had to give it one feed. My plan was to take the engine out of the gymkhana and then down the road to a field half 8 miles off. The field was owned by a friend. He would not mind if I kept the engine there for a couple of months. When I could go to Madras, I found a customer for it. Madras is the earlier name of Chennai, capital of Tamil Nadu. It was a fine sight. The animal elephant yoked to the engine by means to stout ropes, with 50 determined men pushing it from behind, and my friend Joseph sitting in the driving seat. A huge crowd stood around and watched in great glee. The engine began to move. It seems to me the greatest movement in my life. When it came out of the gymkhana and reached the road, it began to behave in a strange manner. Instead of going straight down the road, it showed a tendency to wobble and move zigzag. The elephant dragged it one way. Joseph turned and the wheel for all he was worth without any idea where he was going, and 50 men behind it clung to it in every possible manner and pushed it just where they liked. As a result of all their confused dragging, the engine came straight into the opposite compound wall and broke a big part of the wall. At this, the crowd let out a joyous yell. The elephant, disliking the behavior of the crowd, trumpeted loudly, strained and snapped its ropes, and kicked down a further length of the wall. The 50 men felt in panic. The crowd created a total confusion. Someone slapped me in the face. It was the owner of the compound wall. The police came on the scene and marched me off. When I was released from the lockup, I found the following consequences awaiting me. First, several yards of the compound wall to be built by me. Wages of 50 men who ran away. They would not explain how they were entitled the wages when they had not done their jobs. Joseph Fee was steering the engine over the wall. Cost of medicine for treating the knee of the temple elephant which had received some injuries while kicking down the wall. Here again, the temple authorities would not listen when I pointed out that I didn't engage an elephant to break a wall. Fifth, last but not least, the demand to move the engine out of its present station. I really could not find any means of paying these bills. When I went home, my wife asked, "What is this? I hear about you everywhere." I took the opportunity to explain my difficulties. She took it as a hint that I was asking for her jewels, and she lost her temper and cried that she would write to her father to come and take her away. I was at a loss as to what to do next, or overminded. People smiled at me when they met me in the street. I was seriously wondering why I should not run away to the village. I decided to encourage my wife to write to her father and arrange for her exit. Not a soul was going to know what was my plan. Where I was going to put off my creditors and disappear one fine night. I made preparation to leave the town in a couple of days, leaving the engine to its fate. With all its commitments, however, nature came to my rescue in an unexpected manner. You may have heard of the earthquake of that year, which destroyed whole town in northern India. There was a echoing sound. There was a echoing sound of it in our town too. We were thrown out of our beds that night, and doors and windows rattled. Next morning, I went over to take a last look at my road engine before leaving the town. I could hardly believe my eyes. The road engine was not there. I looked about and raised a hue and cry. Search parties went round, and the engine was found in a disused well nearby. With its backup, I prayed to heaven to save me from fresh complications. But when the owner of the house came round and saw what had happened, he laughed heartily and beamed at me. "You have done me a service." It was the dirtiest water in the well, and the municipality was sending notice to close it. Week after week, I was dreading the cost of closing, but your engine fit it like a cork. Just leave it there. But there was no buts. "I will withdraw my complaints and charges against you and build that broken wall by myself, but only leave the things there." That is hardly enough. I mentioned a few other expenses that this engine had brought on me. I agreed to pay for all that. When I again passed that way some months later, I peeped over the wall. I found the mouth of the well neatly cemented up. I heaved a sigh of great relief. Hope you liked this story. Please like, share, or subscribe my channel.